Alright, now that I have electricity flowing in the garage, I am ready to move on to phase 2 of this project, which is installing the actual lights. I had not talked yet about which kinds of lights I was going to use. I'm going to talk about my decision process now. So I knew all along that I was going to be using LED lights. So in terms of brightness, they have caught up with maybe not with light bulbs, but with fluorescent lights for sure. And so they are cheaper in the long run, and they last a long time. So that's a very good option for a workplace like a garage. So the real decision that I had to make was whether I was going to build or buy a commercial product. So I have here a light panel that I am using on a photo booth. So I built a photo booth which I rent out for events and parties. And so this light panel goes on top of the photo booth. It's tilted forward, and it's lighting up people taking photos. It's made up of 8 strips of light. It's not very wide. It's intentional. It fits inside of the photo booth, so it's more convenient for carrying it around. It's made up of 8 strips of LEDs, and there's a total of 216 individual LEDs in it. These are 50-50 LEDs. They are RGB lights. They're not individually addressable, but I don't need that. What I needed was to be able to adjust the colors, the color. So for the photo booth, that's perfect. This kind of light would not be bright enough to light up a big space like the garage, but they make brighter LEDs now. The 56, is that it? Yeah, 5630 LEDs. They're much brighter. That would be a good option. So I looked into that, and so I did some quick math to if I were to make a 4 feet light panel. 4 feet is the standard length of fluorescent lights for workshops, and this is the light. This is the length of the light that was above the washer dryer. And so I wouldn't, if I were to build a 4-foot long LED light like this, I would need to spend about $10 worth of LEDs. In addition to that, I would need to get a power supply or transformer. So I looked into it, and to get something not cheap. I don't want it to break, because otherwise you're just wasting it, and not super high end. So something reasonable would cost around $10 to $12. So let's say $10. So that's a total of $20 just of these two components to build a light. In addition to the time I would need to spend to cut it in pieces and then solder, and then mount that on a panel of some sort, maybe paint it white to get some reflection. So that would cost a little bit more than $20, let's say $23, $24 each light, if I were to build a few of them. And so compare that with a commercial product that's available. So I happen to be at the Costco. I'm in Northern California here. I happened to be at Costco this afternoon, and I saw these guys, these lights. So this particular model, they don't always have it in stock. I was there a few weeks ago. They didn't have them. They had them today, and so I jumped on it. I got 6 of them. They are $30 each. So doing the math, it's a little bit more money than if I were to build it, but it comes pre-made. I don't have to spend any time on it. It already works. In fact, I am being lit right now by some of these lights. I've already installed a few of them. And in addition to the light itself, they come inside of a metallic frame which protects the light a little bit, and so it's a nicer option. So that's what I decided to do. So let me show you what the actual lights look like. Okay, here's the item. So just a box, nothing special. The manufacturer here is Fate Electric. They give us a few specs. So 42 watts. The light output is 3700 lumens, And so the life expectancy is 50,000 hours, so that's many years. I should not have to worry about replacing this for a good long time. The color temperature is 4,000 Kelvin, so they call that cool white. And judging by what I see here with the few lights I installed in the garage, it's white, it's not bluish, and it's not yellowish. So that description seems accurate. Just a note on the 3700 lumens, I really hope, and I have to trust, I have to have faith in Fate Electric, pun not intended here, that they have measured the output of the whole unit and did not simply add up the output of each individual LEDs and added that up to 3700, because that doesn't work. I've seen other manufacturers doing this. It was mostly Chinese manufacturers doing this, just adding up each individual LED and coming up with the total number. Light does not add up like that, so I'm hoping it's been measured for the whole unit. So that was just a side note. Let me turn the box around and open the box. So here's what we have there. So let's see. So the casing is made of metal. It's aluminum. It's very light. Each light comes with I'll show it on the light in a second, but there's a chain to turn on and off the light, and they provide an extension for the chain. They also provide some hanging wire and mounting screws. So they don't provide a hook. Like you would need a hook like this. I don't know if I can see that. We can see that on the camera, but you would need to use a hook like this in the ceiling, and then attach the wire on the hook. This hook here, there is a. Try to show this to the camera. Oh, try to show this to the camera. So this side there, the hook side, goes onto the light, and the loop side would go on the hook that's attached to the ceiling. But I won't be using this. I'm mounting them flush on the ceilings. The ceiling, not the ceiling, but the joists that are there. So screws come with it. Some instructions, and something to point out: the cord is very long. So take it out there, turn it around. So here's the chain. So it's a short chain, and I installed it here, and they're just dangling there. I can't reach it, but I don't plan on using that. Still though, that's an option if I decide that I need to shut it off for whatever reason. The cord is very long. It's 5 feet long, so that's very useful. I have brought my power outlets exactly where I need the lights, so I don't need the long cords, but you know, something to point out. So here it is. It's 2 tubes. These are made of plastic. So the box here is metal with the nice white shiny reflector. The tubes are made of plastic. So I'm assuming, I did not open that, but I'm assuming these are light strips inside, and possibly back to back, because it doesn't seem to be directional. The light doesn't seem to be coming in one direction. It seems to be going all around. And the diffusing, the tube serves as a diffusing material, and it's bouncing back on the reflector there. So nice and bright. The cord, oh yes, and something interesting at the other end. Let me turn this around. There is another outlet there. So it says that on the box, but I did not realize what that meant. They are linkable, so you can connect another light on there. I'm not going to use this feature, but I think we could. It could be used to connect maybe another low power appliance or something else. They're not grounded, so it would need to be a 2-prong connector. But that's an interesting feature. So it's made of aluminum. It's pretty light, and so there we have these slotted holes there for the mounting screws, which is what I'm using. So very easy to mount. They provide the measurement on the back of the box, or actually, do they have it here? Yeah, they provide the measurement for the holes right there on the instructions, so it's not totally useless. And so I've measured it, and it works exactly as it's supposed to. So that's the light. Okay, so here it looks like this. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, so there is a couple of very small scratches on the lens of this camera that usually we can see them, but pointing directly at the light, they're totally visible. So I guess I'll have to replace this camera eventually. So getting closer, I think the lighting will adjust. There it is. So this flashing there, that's from that's the alternating current. I cannot see this flashing looking at the light. What I want to show there is that it's nicely diffused, so it's very bright. I can barely look at it directly. It's too bright for me to look at. So it looks nice and bright. There is the chain right there. When I reach up, I can touch it, and so I can always turn it off. There we go. I just turned it off. Turn it back on. And so what I've done for the wire there, I've used these coax cable clips, or clamps rather. They have a little bit more space. Normally the other clamps for these types of cables are flat, and they don't have a whole lot of room to play with. So I prefer the coax there. When there's a bend like that, it works better. And so there's another one there, and at the other end, here's the outlet, and I'm using, I can't really show it there, but using the just the twist tie that came with it to keep the bundle together. So it looks like this. It's nice and bright. So there's these two there. There's one over the workbench there, and there's one over the washer dryer. This is the one that replaced the fluorescent that used to be there. And so there's a couple more that I need to install. There's going to be one right in front of this one there, and another one right in front of this one there for this corner of the garage. And the garage now is nice and bright. I've never seen the garage so bright, and I can see just how messy it is. So I have, this is the first step, right? It's acceptance, and the next step's going to be doing something about it. So I'm glad I added this light. It's going to make a huge difference here. So this will be the end of this two-part video. In part one, I installed the conduit. I added a new circuit to the electric panel. I brought the electricity to the outlets. I installed the outlets, and I set up the switch, the light switch, to work with the new circuit. In part two, well, I did not show that I was installing the lights. That part is pretty simple. It's 2 screws, put the light on and plug it in. But I did discuss the build versus buy of LED lights. I'm quite happy with my choice there. I would rather save the time and work on other projects. These are good quality, and it's hard to argue with the results. It's nice and bright in here. My garage has gone from a dark cavern to a nicely lit garage that's going to be useful for other things now than just storing things, once I clean it up, of course. So hopefully this has been interesting and helpful, and I will see you guys next time.